Hello everyone, I'm Nikita. So, probably you might be knowing about identity and access management, which is also known as IAM. So, this is where you create users, roles, groups, policies, and to grant permissions to various resources in your AWS account. But you might have noticed if you go to create a new user, here, Identity Center. You'll get a new message of Identity Center, especially if you're trying to provide access to the console. You'll see the recommended way is Identity Center as opposed to just creating a regular IAM user. So, what is this all about? Why is Identity Center used? What is Identity Center? That's what we are going to know in this video. So, let's get into theory. So, IAM Identity Center used to be called as AWS Single Sign On or SSO. So, if you see SSO in any old documentation or training, then just know that it's been updated to be called as Identity Center. And as the name implies, with this service, this will give you just a single login across all your AWS accounts, leveraging AWS organizations and can use same login for your EC2 instances that are running in your Windows. You can also use multiple identity providers like Active Directory, the built-in IAM store and more. So generally you just get a lot more functionality here in terms of login and identity providers. But practically speaking, what does this look like? So, without Identity Center, if we have just quote unquote regular IAM, let's say that you have three accounts: dev account, test account, and production account. If you need to switch between these throughout your day, then basically you need to log into each one of them separately. You also have to manage separate keys, secret keys, and access key IDs separately as well. And this could get pretty tedious even with just three accounts. So, if you have an entire development team doing the same thing, then it's just a little bit painful. With Identity Center, life is much simpler. So, once you get things set up and configured, rather than going to console to log in like you do today, there is going to be a separate login page, just like single login. No matter how many accounts or apps you have, you are going to log in there. That will take you to the page that lists all of your accounts. So let's summarize the difference between a regular IAM and IAM Identity Center. With IAM, you're just managing identities and access in a single AWS account. So, if you're just an individual who has set up an account for learning, then this is really simple lightweight way to get started here, and you're not using organization over here. But if you're just using regular IAM, this does not work with organizations. But with Identity Center, you're centrally managing access across multiple accounts and apps. Incidentally, you can do this for just a single account. That's a valid use case as well. And you can use organization for a single account too. uh, in real world, though it's more likely that you have dozens or hundreds of accounts, an identity center is the recommended way to manage console access, command line, and problematic access. So, your access key IDs, your secret keys, and so on. In general, it seems that Identity Center is becoming the recommended way to do identity and management access in AWS. It reduces your complexity, it gives you better visibility because it integrates with Cloud Trial. You can do audits on single sign on access and so on. I have my suspicions that this might eventually replace original IAM, but that's all just speculations. I have no idea though to become familiar with Identity Center because it seems that AWS is kind of needing us in that direction. So, yes, that is all about the theory. Now we are actually going to set it up and use it. So the first thing we need to do is enable Identity Center. This is not done for you by default in your account, but it's easy to do. Click on Enable. So just a couple of notes for you. First, I am in AP Southeast 1 right now, that is in Singapore. uh, you can only enable this in a single region. So if I were to enable it in Singapore and then I would want to enable it, say, in North Virginia, I would have to disable it in Singapore and then I have to enable in North Virginia. Uh, and I am going to touch on that at the end of the video, how to basically undo everything what you have done here. uh, so if you're just testing this out and you're not quite really ready to commit, that's totally fine. This is not permanent, but let's start with enabling. Now, Identity Center does require AWS organization. If you have one set up already, that's cool. But if you don't, you can create the organization. So let's go ahead and do that. Before going to organization, I would like to give you a keynote. You might sometimes get an error message here, or the enable button used to be that will say rate exceeded. I've had that happen a couple of times. It seems like it creates the organization, but it does not go all the way through while creating the identity center. So, if that happens to you, uh, just go ahead and refresh the page, and then you will see a button that says finish enabling. Click on that, and then once that finishes, you should drop into a page like this. So it looks like everything worked here. We have got identity center set up and running, and we should have the AWS account created as well. So let's just go check that real quickly. I'll open up the tab now, the new AWS organization. So let's go into the AWS organization. Here we go. Here is my organization. So it automatically creates a root account. And then if you just have one account, it will make that account your a management account. So it's totally valid to have an organization with just a single account, and that's what I have here. It looks like everything worked here as well. Now going back to the identity center, uh, your identity source and identity center defines where your users and groups are managed. And if you go to the settings, scroll down, uh, here by default, when you enable identity center, it's going to make the identity source as identity center directly. And that's where you would create your users and groups, assign their level of access, and so on. But if you don't want to use the built in directory here, you can come over to the action and change the source directory. If you have something set up like Active Directory or external identity provider, we are just going to go with the built-in directory center. So I'll just cancel out that, but that's where you would set up the source. Now let's go create a user, and we can do that up here on the left navigation. Click on user. Uh, Now, users here are not the same as users that you create in IAM. To create an IAM user, you can still log into an individual account and go create the users inside of that account. But here, identity center kind of sits outside of your account. So here we are creating a user that could be used across multiple accounts. So kind of at a different level, slightly different. They do represent a user like a first name, a last name, an email address, and so on. But they are really just at different levels. So here, click on add users, and then I'm going to name it as Nikita AWS, and then I'm going to give it select the option of generate a one-time password, and I'll name password, I mean email, my email, or anything you would prefer to link it with, and I'll name it as first name is okay. So then scroll down and click on next. So for now, we don't want groups. So I'll click on next, review, also scroll down, and then finally click on add user. So you will get all the credentials. Make sure to copy this into a notepad. So let me copy all these things. So we have a user now. Let's create a permission set that will actually allow them to do things. Permission sets are stored in Identity Center, and they can define the level of access that users and groups have on that AWS account. They are basically a template of IAM roles. If you are familiar with those, and we are going to start with the permission set. So let's go to the permission sets on Identity Center dashboard. Click on that, and then click on create permission set. You have two types of permission set. One is predefined permission set and custom permission set. Predefined permission set is what pre-built uh, permission set which is given by the AWS, and custom is what we set and control powers. So I'll go with a predefined permission set. Uh, this has many policies such as administrator access, billing, database administrator, network administrator. I don't need all these things. I'll just select the administrator access. Scroll down and click on next. Now you can set with the session duration of 1 hour, 2, 3. So I'll just click on 1 hour. Then I'll say next. So this is the review. Then scroll down and click on create. Now you can see that the permission set has been created. Okay, now we have a user and a permission set. So let's grant them access to an account so they can log in and have permissions based on that permission we have set. To do that, we want to come over to the AWS account, and here we want to go to the AWS account and then select the account which you want to assign it to the users or groups. Uh, right now, I have a single account, so I'll just select that and click on assign users or groups. So it redirects to the groups. Go to the users. So you'll get the username which you have created earlier. Click that and click on next. Now permission set for that yeah, account we have allowed is this. So I'll click on next, click on submit. So it's getting ready. So yes, uh, this is how you are going to assign permissions to that account. Now, although we have given access to that user, let's go and check whether it's really working out or not. Now, let me go to the dashboard in navigation. Scroll down and click on the access portal URL. Then go to the notepad where you have copied all your credentials. I'll copy the username, click on next, and password. I'll copy the password as well, click on sign in. So now we have to set a new password. So I'll just uh, set a new password. Click on set new password. Yes. Now we can see that it shows that this is associated with this account. So if you click on that and click on administrator access, then you can see on the top right of the screen that it's showing administrator access with the username as Nikita AWS. So yes, we have successfully able to create identity center, give user access to that through AWS organization. So yes, this is how we are going to create this. And now let's do the cleanup for all the things we have set up. Okay, now I'm back as a root user. Let me go to the identity center dashboard. In the dashboard, go to the settings, scroll down, and go to the management section. And you can see that delete IAM identity center configuration. So if you click on that, you have to select all the options, and then it's asking to enter the identity center instance. I'll copy it and paste it, then click on confirm. So yes, this is how you are going to delete your setup identity center with users and permissions as well. And that's all in today's video. Thank you so much for watching.